Today we talk about pinning your opponent in Chi Sao. Hey, welcome back to Wing Chun, where we discuss Wing Chun and answer any training related questions. My name is Edgar and this is episode 38 of Practice Wing Chun. And today is another episode of class notes. And yesterday my class focused mostly on Chi Sao. And one of the topics that we covered was pinning your opponent. And if you're not familiar, when you're doing Chi Sao, there are certain movements that you can do, certain combinations if you have it, and some of them requires you to step in and close the distance and strike your opponent. Now we covered pinning, and pinning can sound kind of simple, but there's a lot involved. So we're going to break it down and kind of go through that. And I'm going to use the dummy to demonstrate. I think on the dummy you can see much more visibly what pinning means. So I'm just going to move this here. Okay. So pinning your opponent is essentially when you pin them and strike so that you are clearing their arm and you're also preventing them from striking you back. Now, when you pin, you want to be able to control their striking arm or their defending arm so that you have space. And also, you want to make sure your bunk cell is up, your elbow is up, so that any strike that's coming at you is not going to go above your arm, or if your arm is too low, it's just going to come straight in. So you want to maintain that, and you want to close the distance so that they, even if they are trying to strike or counter you, since you don't give them space or room to maneuver, their counter will not be as effective as if you gave them the distance to come in and for them to counter. You want to maintain a 135-degree angle so that you are never collapsed like this. As you can see, you don't want to be in this position because you're that much closer to your opponent. But if I keep my arms out at this distance, I can still strike them. But if I collapse my arm down and ping them with to like less than 135 degrees, this is how it looks. You see how, even though I got the strike, they are much closer to me now. The arms are much closer to me. And I think this shows really well on the dummy because it doesn't move. So correctly, I have distance. Incorrectly, they're in my space. And also one thing I want to mention is, while you're closing the distance and pinning them, you're also bumping them. You want to step in, bump them, disrupt them. So anything to change their direction is good, because if they're still coming at you straight on, if their center line is facing you, that's not good. You want to disrupt them. You want to move them. You want to make sure that they can't focus anymore. Make them lose their train of thought. That's the purpose of stepping in, pinning, striking, and bumping them all at the same time. And even just saying that, see, is like a lot involved, because you have to defend, you have to control their arm, you have to strike them, you have to step in, you have to make sure your upper body is moving them. And this is all supposed to be done in one smooth motion. Now, for me, I'm still doing kind of like a two-step where I have this down and then my legs on the bottom, my stepping still isn't quite there yet. It's something I've been working on. I've mentioned this in previous videos where I'm constantly working on the stepping. So things like pinning your opponent in Chi Sao is great practice for practicing your stepping. Now, once again, these class notes are more for me. So if they don't make that much sense to you, feel free to email me or message me and I'll do my best to explain to you in further detail. But in the meantime, if you're already doing like pinning or disrupting or just like simultaneous disrupting, stepping, striking in your Chi Sao for your school, in your class, let me know how you guys do it. I'm really interested to hearing about it. So let me know in the comments. And until next time, keep training.